Hello everybody, welcome back for some StarCraft 2 action. We are here with ShoWTimE and Harstem, a PvP Group C of the Homestory Cup 25, and both of these players are basically contenders to get top 1 in their group. Both of them toppling the other contender in Killager, if you've seen that in the last videos. Put up a pretty good fight, but the Protosses are strong. So now we have a PvP, I wouldn't say for the ages, but still a battle of powerhouses, and it starts with ShoWTimE, German powerhouse. Hero Marine wasn't a thing, I think. Well, okay, we also have Lambo, wow. Germany's strong StarCraft land, who would have thought? Who would have thought having one of the greatest tournaments StarCraft has ever seen in your country produces a couple, or at least it helps produce a couple amazing players. Let's see what these guys' take on PvP is right now. They know that they are playing for the #1 spot. I think this was in the last round of their group. We're doing Group C a little bit differently. I always pick all the matches beforehand. Like, I go to Wikipedia, I pick all of the matches then. And if I get any recommendations in the comments, I'll add them in later. So that, you know, on Wikipedia, you kind of tend to spoil yourself on the results. So I just pick them from all groups right away, so I don't really know the results. And I think that works wonders. We do see Proxy Pylon here on the map here for Harstem. It doesn't look like he's going to be using it, but ShoWTimE might become a little paranoid. We do see Stalker Sentry from both sides coming out here for the players, and soon we will see what type of tech will go down for those players. Now we do have a small PSA that on one hand my microphone and webcam kind of died because I use like a USB extension hub for that, so that they get clean power. That did fix my condenser microphone that I used before a lot. It had a lot of background noise because of, I don't know, it got power directly from the motherboard and it just became awful. So the audio might have changed a little bit. So I had some technical difficulties. That's what I was trying to talk to you guys about. And also, I'm going on a short holiday, so most of these casts for the next few days will be pre-recorded. And I had a little bit of a hiccup in pre-recording those because of said hub breaking. A little sad, didn't have that too long. But I hope you still enjoyed. Probably like a video every other day, and after the weekend I'll be back and trying to upload more regularly StarCraft content. Stormgate's coming out, I might do a couple videos on that, but some of you guys might have noticed that I'm not too high, or I haven't been too highly impressed by it. Both players showing their tech, they have the hallucinations to check it out. We see Robo for Harstem and a Twilight console with Blink for ShoWTimE. I did mention it before, I tweeted it out, but I would love to see a Mechabellum and a Battle Aces type of like fusion. I think that type of game would be really cool. Like small micro battles like Mechabellum, but maybe with some limited amount of control. And I love the RNG elements in it, where you pick a different commander, you get a choice every round that you both get, so you can kind of like, there's so many mind games there that I feel like would spice things up a lot, whereas I felt like Battle Aces just got super stale. You also had to grind so much to get your units, and then there's only like 2 or 3 decks that have really worked for me at least. But I'm willing to be surprised by all the new RTS titles. I'm not giving up on them. Now, as the game is concerned, we are doing a slow roll here. Both players just playing it safe enough. Trying to skirt the edges, of course, trying to be greedy where they can. But in the end, they also just don't want to die to a random push. We see Fortress for both players going down as well, and these hallucinations are getting a lot of work done for both players. Pretty hard to stop them. The sentries do a good amount of damage, but in the end, you're still gonna get scouted. Like, Phoenixes are just fast, and the hallucinations are just as fast. Now, Harstem is moving out here with a hallucinated War Prism that makes this look like a pretty real push. And he wants to show it to ShoWTimE without, like, dying. So he shows it a little bit. ShoWTimE reacts. But does he, like, really react? Does he warp in a bunch of units? Doesn't he start an upgrade, you know? But looks like ShoWTimE is not really falling for the bait here. Well, we do see a nice force field wall trying to catch out one Stalker. And Harstem behind this, just probing up. Trying to get his own blink, his +1. And we already see charge coming out for ShoWTimE, so he's a little ahead in that department. But if you look at the Robo unit department, Harstem is vastly ahead in that department. Lots of departments. Big company being built here by the Protoss players. And Harstem, of course, getting a bit of a vision advantage as well with this observer lead. Wow, ShoWTimE adding on a bunch of gateways here. Going up to 8 gates, only sitting on 2. Gets another hallucinated feedings for scouting, and his first observer does help him clear out Harstem's observer. And now Harstem takes advantage of the fact that he has a slight advantage in vision, but ShoWTimE just takes a 4th as well. So both players, same amount of workers, slight army lead for Harstem here, and supply lead. But we do see a small upgrade lead from ShoWTimE, especially in the Twilight upgrades. And both players do have +1 around the same time to finish up. We do see Twilight or Templar Archives coming up from ShoWTimE. Harstem, the first, or he's taking a 4th gas. He's just been on 3. Wow. Same with ShoWTimE. I just keep getting surprised by this fact that Protoss are just playing lower gas nowadays. Small Stalker first for ShoWTimE is moving out. It's the same time that he's sending out a War Prism. And this just heightens the likelihood that your harassment gets something done. The War Prism is going to go into the main here. Let's see if Harstem has a warp in ready, or if he's even looking. He does warp in 1 Stalker, 2 Stalker. The Zealots are being dropped here by ShoWTimE. He does not unfold his War Prism and try to get a bunch of Zealot warp-ins because there were enough Stalkers ready. A couple probes do go down. 1 Stalker gets shot down in the front, and another force of ShoWTimE actually walking up to the 4th base. The rest of his army, ShoWTimE, he's at 3 places at once. More Stalkers over here. This War Prism is still lurking. The Stalkers have to stay here, and the 4th base just being clicked down by ShoWTimE. And then, at the last moment, he actually does not click it down. He gets away all of these force fields from Harstem, prevent the Nexus from dying, and of course the nuclear battery keeping it alive. ShoWTimE donating a bunch of his army supply there, and is now about 10 army supply down. Let's look at the immortal counts. We see Harstem doubling the immortal count, doubling the sentry count, but slightly behind on probes. But he's definitely making sure that he's making them so that he can fill up his 4th base, make sure to saturate that. +2 attack, almost done, no second forge for either player. Do see a couple Archons here being added on for ShoWTimE. Another observer does go down. Let's zoom out here. And ShoWTimE actually has control over both of these ramps. Both players not thinking about a 5th base just yet. Harstem waits for +2 to finish, and should be moving up this ramp. He has a small timing on ShoWTimE. We do have shield battery for ShoWTimE, and he comes from another edge. Oh my god, that Archon, the big fat Archon, makes sure that those force fields don't do anything. ShoWTimE blinks on in. His 2 Immortals get reinforced by a 3rd one. We see a recall on of all of the Immortals from Harstem, and he only gets out 1 alive. 3 of them have died, and now Harstem is in full retreat. ShoWTimE, however, is just shoving it down mid and hoping to kill Harstem here, perhaps, or get a lot of damage on this Immortal. No! Gets caught by the Zealots and the rest of the units here of ShoWTimE. Doesn't even have to commit a force field for that. And that is pretty costly for Harstem, losing an Immortal that he so desperately needs for a solid defensive setup here. And if you look at the army supply, ShoWTimE is really starting to explode. Whilst Harstem does have a small eco lead, so he can catch up here in the army supply if he keeps getting good trades. And he can certainly get some good trades near his cannons and his shield batteries. Do see a small force field, making sure that not all of the Zealots are being effective. Nice arc here for ShoWTimE. It's only Stalkers and a Zealot here for Harstem. Where are the Immortals? I don't see his immortals. He doesn't have any immortals. It must have gotten picked off earlier on in that fight, and now Harstem doesn't have a 4th base. It's looking dire for El Capitan. He might be able to catch one of these immortals, though, with a blunk, but it's all a bait. The 4th base is going down, but not a lot of hope left for Harstem, and he is forced to GG out here in game number 1. More units trying to enter his 3rd as well. Harstem just didn't have charge there. Wow, I didn't even notice, but his zealots were vastly underwhelming compared to those of ShoWTimE. And ShoWTimE takes game number 1 versus Harstem there on Goldenaura for game number 1. So Harstem now down 1-0 on our favorite map, though. Ghost River has an opportunity here to strike back and get even, and perhaps get a nice reverse 2-0 for confidence. Make a little bit of content out of this ShoWTimE guy. Now, if you're enjoying the casts, be sure to like the video and subscribe to the channel. Thank you very much. More casts to come in the future. We're gonna keep this train rolling, baby. Now, ShoWTimE is electing to go for a little scout here on Ghost River. A very short rush distance. And so also short scout distance is a 2-player map after all. Like most of the maps nowadays, we've kind of gone away from 4-player maps, which is interesting, as in StarCraft 1 still has them, even have 3-player maps. And they seem to just work fine in a very similar game in a lot of senses. Harstem moves out once again with his probe and looks to be setting down another one of those hidden pylons that ShoWTimE then has to worry about a lot of the game, or at least a lot of the early game. And Harstem is keeping his probe over there as well, so this is going to be a proxy. What is it going to be? It could be Dark Templar, it could be a Stargate. I mean, the air rush distance is pretty short, but I don't know how much an Oracle can get done. It could also just be a proxy Robo, try to bust down the rocks and go, go, go. It ends up being a Robo. Okay, proxy Robo, that's very aggressive. Double units going down, Cybercore before a 2nd unit, or Gateway Research before 2nd unit. ShoWTimE has to be noticing the lack of 2nd unit there. I think Harstem could have maybe started a Zealot just to pretend. But still, this is going to be pretty tough on ShoWTimE here. Harstem walks up the ramp here, sees that 2 units are building, sees a pylon, makes a pylon to make sure that he sees what units they are coming out of the gateways. And 2 adepts are out on the map. The pylon obviously gets cancelled. And we have 1 Stalker, 2nd Stalker, and more Stalkers to come. So it's just a Stalker flood. And 1 probe is ready to make a shield battery here, making sure that those adepts don't go out. Of course, we make a shield battery because it costs the same as a pylon. I think it has equal health, but it takes longer to build. So the Shade can't wait it out as much. Ooh, 4 adepts coming out of ShoWTimE. Is he going to go that Immortal Adept route that we saw from Cyan? For now, it's just 2 gateways and Gateway Research being chrono boosted. The first Immortal's already on its way out. Oh my god, these Stalkers get shaded on. The 3rd Stalker has arrived, though. Oh my god, the yellow Stalker gets stuck! Oh, the Adept do so much, or so little damage. So pitiful. Versus armored units, versus non-light units, basically, and they don't get the kill. The first Immortal is out. ShoWTimE not privy to that just yet. These Shades are just about to confirm that there is no natural. And what is the reaction here out of the Mauer? We do see an instantaneous Robo. We have 2 sentries, and a shield battery is going down on the low ground. We already have 1 of the Immortals. A 2nd Immortal is coming out, or it's a War Prism, actually. That's going to help the micro potential of Harstem's units a lot. We do have this 1 sentry that actually dishes out a lot of damage versus shielded units nowadays. And Harstem actually is trying to catch these adepts in the middle of the map. So is Harstem actually going to take a natural behind this? The sentry does get caught. Oh my god, the adept barely does not get it. Oh, he does get the last shot. Gets to snipe that sentry from beyond the grave. called by the grave, perhaps. And we have one immortal, and the second one just comes out of the Robo. A third one is being chrono boosted out, and ShoWTimE just starting up his first immortal. Now, the War Prism has been revealed. ShoWTimE should be kind of privy to what is happening here. He has 4 sentries. The first one gets clicked down right away. No Guardian Shield, no force fields. And Harstem can now kind of force his way into the low ground position here onto ShoWTimE's base. The back battery gets nuclear power engaged. Gets a little bit of that Iron Man secret element pumped into it. And the probes are pulled off the line, but Harstem just immediately retreats. So it's just a net neg for ShoWTimE here. Waits out the nuclear battery. More units are being warped in. A third immortal is on its way. And the first shield battery just gets clicked down before the units of ShoWTimE are even in position. Nice force field. Keeping out these units. Keeping them away from this force. And Harstem just starts clicking on the Nexus. And what can ShoWTimE really do? Is there another force field? No, there's not. It's 2 immortals versus 3. The shield battery's out of juice. No nuclear battery. And we still have the Warp Prism advantage. The probes are pulled off the line. They are being completely shredded like paper. And the 3 immortals rain down hell on top of the 2 immortal army of ShoWTimE. And Harstem takes this game and takes us to a game number 3. And of course, it all comes down to game number 3 between these 2 Protoss legends. On a more standard map this time around, we got Oceanborn. Let's see what both players are up to. No early probes on the map just yet. So it's probably just going to be a mirror for the foreseeable future, as most mirror matches tend to do. Now, I do want to shortly thank everybody for joining us in the last month or so. We've had the second to best month ever on this channel. I think December of last year was crazy because, you know, everybody has holidays. And so that one is the best, but July this year. Doing great. I've been releasing a lot of videos, but you guys have also been watching them and hopefully enjoying them. So, I don't know, had to talk about something. Whilst Harstem moving out with another proby boy. Hello. Puts a pylon out on the map, but moves away from it again. Let's see if he goes for another proxy, if it's another Robo. He kind of took a dirty win from ShoWTimE in that game number 2. Dude, his immortals were hidden for so long. I was a little confused, honestly, where I was like, you have an immortal, go? No. Okay, you have an immortal on a prism, surely you'll go. No. You have 3 immortals, now he will go. Like, surely ShoWTimE was kind of feeling the same thing, like, are you gonna attack me or not? And at some point, ShoWTimE did not have any information on the natural. For the longest time, he didn't have any information on the natural. Now, we do see a Stargate from ShoWTimE here, pretty fast. Making 2 adepts to make sure he has the gas to afford that ASAP. Of course, gateway before any units, always in PvP. I've watched a little bit of the Harstem cast, or coaching a laser on his Protoss, just to kind of improve my own Protoss knowledge a little bit. It's so cool how deep these races go nowadays. Like, we've been playing this game for what, 14, 15 years? 14, most of us. People have dug a little bit too deep on some of these units, on some of these matchups. Now, we do see a Harstem Stargate coming up, but it's way later. Look at that, how late it is compared to the Stargate of ShoWTimE. So, ShoWTimE perhaps cutting a couple corners here to get that out. Of course, Harstem investing all of his gas into these Stalkers that are trying to harass these adepts. It's 4 adepts once again from ShoWTimE, but this time around there's going to be an Oracle, and hopefully for ShoWTimE he's not going to fly into these Stalkers. No, he is not. Harstem misses out on this Oracle, and now 4 Stalkers just out on the map, unable to do anything. And it's not even a Phoenix for Harstem, so this Oracle in the natural could be very annoying. We do see Stays Ward coming out. We have a shield battery that would be able to deal with the Pulsar Cannon, or just the energy beam from the Oracle, so instead we get a bunch of stasis probes. How many is that even? That's like 10 probes not mining right now. Do have 2 Stalkers across the map. Another Oracle out on the map. This pylon hasn't been seen, but also doesn't seem to be spotting the second Oracle coming in. And so Harstem is putting pressure on the front. Oh, the Adepts get into the main base. They catch a couple of probe kills here. And the one Oracle from Harstem stays at home, defends his own probe line. These Stalkers just happily shooting away at the natural. Oh no, the double Oracle sweeps on in. That's 10 probes together with the Adepts. And that is 6 kills on the Oracles there. That is a little disastrous. Look at that, 19 to 31 probes. Super oversaturated here for ShoWTimE, but the moment that natural goes up, 11 probes are down. Harstem needs to put his pedal to the metal and really needs to delay this natural mining here for ShoWTimE, because he just needs to catch up in the probes. And one way to kind of catch up is to just have better mining. But these 2 Oracles are still out in the wings, still trying to get something done. Harstem, he's going to click down the Nexus. He's going to get an instant recall there. I think the bullets were still mid-air. And only 2 Stalkers go down, and that is pretty nice for Harstem. Look at the long-distance mining. ShoWTimE electing to stay at 16 out of 16 in his main. Doesn't want to mine out his main too fast. One Oracle does get, or make its way into the main base, but doesn't really get a probe kill, doesn't get a stasis, but he does see the Twilight console, so he knows about the follow-up. These 2 Oracles trying to get damage done. And even though Harstem is a little down on probes, he is probably pretty even on the income. And that, I mean, that's a good move. That's pretty nice. I was like, oh no. 10 probe kills is usually pretty bad in PvP, boys. Believe it or not, but if you have the same units and you just have less workers, you have less money, so you have less of those units. And math is a bitch sometimes. We do get the Robo here for Harstem. He saw the Twilight and elects to counter it with a Robo of his own, also going for a Forge. That is interesting. What is he thinking? Does he think +1 Immortals is just better than Mass Blink Stalker? Feels like a decent map to hold. If you get this third, you get your army over here. Like, it's a pretty gnarly natural to try and blink into. If you're just on this ramp, you can almost always defend. We do see a stasis ward being put down by ShoWTimE, delaying the natural, and ShoWTimE going for an early third. He's already overproducing probes, and that has evened out pretty nicely. Now let's see what Harstem does. He clears the stasis ward with a probe, and will have a third base started of his own, but ShoWTimE does have a small lead in that sense. We do get some extra gateways. No +1 underway. So Harstem is going to have a more formidable army if he can stay alive and get to it. Army supply for now is pretty even. He has 3 sentries versus the 0 of ShoWTimE. If these Oracles can target down the sentries, I feel like this... And even the Immortal, they do pretty good damage. Then Harstem's army is going to flounder against this blink-capable army of ShoWTimE. And ShoWTimE is moving out. We do have 2... stasis wards from Harstem. The colors don't do very well, but the positioning does kind of reveal whomst they are. The 3 sentries and the 1 Oracle. Revelations go both ways, and this is going to be a pretty technical defense here for Harstem. Luckily, he does have a shield battery already, and he's telling us very loudly that he does not really want to move out yet. He just want to get his +1. He just want to get his, or wants to get his Immortal count, then get Blink, and then move out with a bigger Mortal count. Perhaps even going to be seeing some Disruptors if this game goes longer. 2 Immortals ready to deal with these Stalkers. These Immortals do get decent shots off. Oh, nice force fields. They kind of like yoinked that Stalker in, like he slid over. Kind of like a pinball, you know, like tuk tuk. And suddenly he was in the middle of the army, and that makes it hard to click the specific Stalker. Most players just click the Stalker and then blink it back, or they box it and click it back. So if you just miss your Stalker because of that, that can be pretty frustrating. We do get the 4th base from ShoWTimE, really recognizing his advantage in this state of the game, where Harstem is just relinquishing all map control. A lot of stalkers here do get caught by the stasis trap of Harstem. 3 gases for Harstem and 3 for ShoWTimE. What a time to be alive. Blink is coming out. More Immortals, and +2 is already being chrono boosted out by Harstem. So recognizing his advantages definitely in these Immortals with superior upgrades for now. And once Blink finishes, I feel like Harstem's army is going to be pretty scary here for ShoWTimE to deal with. We do have that charge upgrade again for ShoWTimE being so much earlier. He's really prioritizing the Twilight tech because it gives you map control, gives you that early fourth, and kind of gives you the leeway to make some mistakes with your units because you're making a lot of more cheap units. You have slightly more money, although Harstem is definitely mining more gas right now, but soon with this 4th base, the mineral income will definitely favor ShoWTimE, and then those zombie zealot run-bys can start dishing out lots of damage, kind of keeping Harstem on his 3 bases and make it difficult for him to get this 4th base up efficiently. Now we do see the robotic support bay here and a second Robo for Harstem. So just focusing on greater unit quality right now. Only 1 Robo for ShoWTimE. Neither player really using their Stargate anymore. Isn't really a unit you can make right now without investing into, for example, a fleet beacon. And, I mean, even Tempest kind of get wrecked by Stalkers. And, I mean, carriers are very, very expensive. So it's hard to commit into those without just straight up dying. Double Colossus in PvP. That is the answer to Charge Zealots that Harstem is cooking up here. Let him cook, boys. I want to see it. Get these Colossi out. Don't overstep now, Harstem. The battery is about to finish. He will be able to use the nuclear battery. These Charge Zealots are pretty scary. The pylon is being focused down, and the 4th base area has been forfeited by Harstem. He's trying to fight his way back in, but I feel like ShoWTimE has taken this position expertly. Second pylon is being built here to try and get that shield battery back, but doesn't quite help. The Stalkers shoot it down once again, and this 4th base is going down. No other 4th base is being created. Now the Colossus are on deck. 9 probes did go down here for Harstem, now equal to ShoWTimE. ShoWTimE, though, just has a 4th. He's making back. Look at that. Those 2 blue arrows going up, telling us that ShoWTimE is mining a lot more minerals, but Harstem is mining a lot more gas. So let's see what he can use that gas for. Oh my god, the blink in catches one of the Colossus right away. Harstem has to retreat away from his defensive position. The batteries can't help. The Phoenix is too lazy to pick up an Immortal right now. I don't know if it would even help, but oh my god, a recall has to occur. The Colossus gets clicked down. No disruptors yet. 2 more Colossus are underway. Harstem is committed to this Colossus answer. Oh no, the Colossus walks on in. Gets clicked down again. The blunk from ShoWTimE. The momentum in that fight. ShoWTimE did not let go. He smelled blood in the water. He was like, that's some juicy Harstem blood. Let me get in there. And he got in all right. He got a lot of snipes on him. 3 Colossi. The 4th one just walked in. Oh my god, that was cool though. Like, Harstem had such a cool idea. I think if he got up to his 3 or 4 Colossus, maybe it was a misclick there, but he obviously wanted to retreat down to here, but he ended up being over there, kind of getting caught out of position on this ramp location, which I don't know if he was still allowed to be there. Colossus can't walk over this area, which is probably really annoying for the Colossus player, but probably really nice when siege tanks are placed out there. So it's a bit of a balancing act, but with these Stalkers drifting to the top, ShoWTimE drifts to the top of Group C and is just the uncontested winner of Group C. What is this? Is this a Zealot? Or is it also a Stalker? I don't know. Could be an Immortal. It's clearly a different color. That's a probe. Wow. Oh, dude. I really wish Harstem could have stuck that out. But ShoWTimE I told you this was going to be a very technical defense, and ShoWTimE did such a good job taking this fourth area, like the arc that he was able to create, forced Harstem into this awkward area, killing the pylon twice, no nuclear battery to back him up, fourth base completely forfeit, couldn't really get another fourth base going. There was also no counter pressure at all on the other side of the map, and as you can see, ShoWTimE was even ready for it, had cannons to boot. And a lot of minerals to spend on some Zealot Warpins. Oh, dude. I don't know if Colossus are, or Colossi are the answer, but that was a really cool attempt. The double Robo Colossi almost at +3 as well. Oh, what could have been, what could have been. Guys, I hope you enjoyed this series just as much as I did. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you for liking, subscribing, and everything. And I hope to see you in the next one. Cheers.